I think Schweiss is not a very smart person.
I'm taking a picture of everyone. I look important right now.
You don't think they're working?
No, I feel important.
You look important. You look like you're about to like.
Everyone was looking at me when I walked up here and I was talking in it.
You look like you're about to give a speech.
4-7.
That's plagiarism, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Call the police.
I once knew a man who had a dream.
That's a lie. We didn't start it. Okay.
I just want to go eat. No, I was the last table to go. I have food, but.
I may go see who's there. Bryce sitting with him, guys? Well, I thought I seen him earlier.
What about Wade?
I haven't seen Wade yet.
Check, check. Check, check.
I think he is.
Check, check. Check, check, check. Sweet.
I think we got some extra. I bought some for the JV guys. I'm going to give it to these guys just because they showed up tonight. I'm going to wait till after, but these guys showed up. I'm going to give them. It's a pretty good. Coach Body, I was looking at some stuff online, just something to give them to read in the off season. I think it's good. Something they need to do. They'll like it. There's Bryce.
Until actually read it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, I hope they do. That's why I didn't know if I should give it to them now or wait till later. That's why I went to Scotty, so I was trying to decide.
So you give it to them now.
That's why I went to see.
You probably won't ever get them all together. You know, this many of them together until season starts. Game's back now.
Yeah, Coach Bonnell said he read it. He told me about, like I said, I was looking at a couple of other ones by Darren Donnelly that's really good. Yeah, I just you gotta wait a few minutes before we start.
Yeah, probably about 10 minutes. Okay, so other than here, anybody doing something? Oh, funny. The delayed response. I almost fell off my dinosaur. Jones? Alright. I know it is. In the crowd room.
some of these are plaques, some of them are metals? Is
No.
that just something somebody
Yeah.
did in the beginning?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense. Like, I would think maybe like your leading rebounder, those statistical awards might be the medals, and then the plaques are like your offensive
And we can
player.
switch that.
Because it's like there's a rebounder in the medal, and then there's like an assist in the plaque. You know what I'm saying?
It's just been in the past whatever
Yeah.
coaches gave me, and we probably just haven't changed it in a long time. So yeah, if you want to change that, no
Just to me, I
problem.
thought it'd make more sense if statistical ones are
Right.
like.
And I think yours is the one that I looked at and thought the same thing. Like, huh? But
I don't know why I've done it. How many years have I done this now? Not really.
me too. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, about 2 or 3 minutes, we'll go ahead and begin with the coaches speaking and so forth. So if you need to use the restroom, please do so. If you need to turn your phones on silent, please do that as well. 2 or 3 minutes to finish up your conversations and get situated. Thank you.
That's what I hate about it. 'Cause I'm like, I'm sitting there like, but I knew I'd get it over with.
You guys, are you going to start?
No, we're setting it.
You'll start and then you'll finish. Okay.
Now, who do I follow?
You're at the rest. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I have to start out with an apology and get it out of the way. I messed up, and I have to admit it right off the bat. When preparing for the banquet tonight, I do a lot of things, the certificates and the SGs and the awards and things like that. I started to create the awards for the athletes, got through girls basketball, got through boys basketball, and ran out of the silver awards. So for cheer and emeralds and for wrestling, you guys will get a silver certificate if you lettered in varsity for your sport. But when I called on Monday in a panic and said, how fast can you get them to me? They said 2 to 3 weeks, which wasn't going to do. So as soon as those come in, hi girls, as soon as those come in, I'll get names put on there and so forth, and we'll get those distributed to the kids as soon as possible. I'm hoping by the end of the month. So I apologize for that. Not the coach's fault whatsoever, 100% my fault. Happy Pi Day. 3.14, right? Yeah. How many adults knew it was Pi Day today? How many kids knew it was Pi Day today? Kids are smarter than adults, right? Right. All right. I'm not going to talk a whole lot, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave that up to the coaches. But I did want to do a couple of thank yous as the night goes on. First of all, I wanted to thank Cheryl Wolk and her kitchen staff for the nice meal that they provided for us tonight. So how about a nice round of applause? Like I said, I'll spread those thank yous out throughout the course of the night, but I did want to go ahead and do one more thank you before we introduce the coaches. I want to thank our booster officers before they took off for tonight. I know some of you are staying and some of you may not. We've got several booster officers who volunteer their time. They work concessions all the time. They put the concession schedules together. They meet monthly, bi-monthly. They pick scholarship winners. They do a lot of things, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. And again, they do all of that just out of goodness of their heart and with no compensation. So wanted to thank those booster officers. Hopefully I don't mess this up. Kelly Solkowski, Carrie Staffen, Carla Bullock, Tracy Helms, and Sandy Geck. And I didn't forget anybody, right, ladies? Okay. Thank you, ladies, for your time. We appreciate it. Great. And you guys in the back can still hear me, right? We're good? Okay. As long as the coaches speak up, right? Okay, introduction of coaches. We'll start to my far left here. Our girls basketball coach, Jordana Walk. And Baby Walk, too. Our head winter and now our head fall cheer coach as well, Shelly Dallas. To her right, our assistant winter cheer coach, Misty Thomas. Volunteer Emeralds dance coach, Tabitha Zimmerman. No German tonight. It's got to all be English, no German. All right, to her right is head Emeralds coach, Ashley Operly. And for the ugly side of the table, starting to my right is assistant basketball coach, John Robinson. Head boys basketball coach, Rob Coleman. Head wrestling coach, Jared Bonnell. Coach Bonnell said earlier that I always make fun of him at these banquets, so I will not talk about how stupid he looks. To his right, assistant wrestling coach, Nick Vogt. Another assistant wrestling coach, Brian Geck. One of our middle school wrestling coaches who, after the middle school wrestling season is over, comes up and volunteers his time with the high school, Justin Roth. And a former wrestler. I think a lot of these guys are actually, other than Bonnell, he came over from the dark side of Farmington. All these guys are former St. John wrestlers. Our final coach, a volunteer wrestling coach this year, Tanner Jones. All right, like I said, I'm not going to do much more talking other than that tonight. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our first sport, which is cheerleading, and Shelly Dallas. Come on up, Shelly.
Which one is it? These are too tall. All right, well, I'm going to try to make this quick, but those of you that don't know me, I have been known to talk a little bit. I'll try my best to stay on track, so here we go. Well, this was my first season as head coach, and I really enjoyed this season. During football season, we had 12 cheerleaders, and I really liked the small squad. But then at tryouts, basketball, we ended up with a lot of talent. So we ended up with 18 cheerleaders. We had 3 guys and 15 girls, and it had been 20 years since I had worked with stunting, and I've never coached guys before, so I didn't know what to do with them as far as the stunting. So I contacted SEMO cheerleading coach, and he came up and worked with us to learn how to do a flip, improve our basket tosses, and taught the guys to do a one-man where they hold a girl by themselves. This team was really strong in stunting, and they really liked doing it. We ended up with multiple stunt groups that could do basket tosses, straight ups, retakes, and difficult stunts. I was always proud of them and all the work they did. They always showed perseverance, patience, and passion as they worked to get their routine down. They worked hard to accomplish their goals, and everyone worked great as a team. I really enjoyed this season, and I'm so proud of this team. I want to thank Coach Thomas. She was great to work with and a lot of support. She had great ideas, and I look forward to working with her again next year. For letting their students cheer. Parents, your support is great, and we know these kids are great because of you. I would like to thank Teresa Geck for all her help this season. She sorted over 250 poinsettias for us so that we could continue to practice. She and Anastasia helped during the entire cheer clinic. Thanks, Anastasia. Teresa also transported our mat to all the conference games and tournaments and district tournament games. She also helped by hemming a pair of pants for us without us even asking. Thanks, Teresa. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Nix. I am always asking him so many questions that I'm surprised he still answers his phone when I call. He's very supportive of our team, and I really appreciate it. I'd also like to thank the coaches as well, because they allow us to stunt on the upper part of the gym during their practices. Without this, we would not have been able to pull off our routine or to do all our stunts. We really appreciate that. Thanks, coaches. Also, we'd like to thank the sports boosters. They not only provide us food and drink here at the banquet, but they bought us paintbrushes and a nice new mat that was much needed. We appreciate your support that you brought all these things for us. Please be sure to join sports boosters. I want to thank the cheer crowd. They help my cheerleaders with the cheers, but they also give them space that they need so that they're not so crowded. So thanks to the cheer crowd. And the band. The band makes it really fun. I want to thank Dr. Mercer, Mr. Haney, Linda Holst, Brandy Henderson, that I work with in the office. There's times when I step out and be interrupted with cheerleading that my work sometimes is interrupted. I appreciate their patience and support, and I want to thank my husband, Danny. Even though he's not here, when I come home from practice, he has supper ready, which is great. And on days that I have games, he's home alone. Okay, now let's introduce the team. Carissa Holst. Carissa smiles a lot. Oh, please come on up. Okay, okay. Carissa Holst. Please hold your applause until I've introduced everyone. It kind of speeds it along. Carissa smiles a lot and has a great attitude. She was respectful to others. She's always willing to stay right up here. She's always willing to do whatever we need. We moved her around a lot during the routine when someone was injured or hurt, and she just adjusted. She's a strong tumbler and good cheerleader, and I'm excited to have her next year. Timothy Nelms. Timothy's a quiet guy. Is he here? He's a quiet guy, but willing to do whatever's necessary. Even though he don't have much to say, he always had a good attitude and enjoyed stunning. He worked hard to learn his cheers and did a good job. He's a nice young man, and I look forward to working with him next year. Gracie Odom. Gracie was always enthusiastic and learned things quickly. Even though she had a few setbacks, I think I'm blowing this out. Even though she had a few setbacks, she was always enthusiastic and wanted to learn new things. She has good jumps, is a strong tumbler, and a good cheerleader. Tristan Arini. Tristan learned to be a base for us this year, and she did a great job. She was willing to keep going until it was right. She was willing to put up more than one flyer. She has good jumps and is a good cheerleader, and I'm glad to have her next year. Soraya Zerwig. She has sharp motions and a good attitude and is always willing to do whatever's needed. She's small, but she's strong, and she based for us this year. She's nice to others, a strong tumbler, good cheerleader. Look forward to having you next year. Emily Apt. Although she didn't get a stunt much, she always had a smile and was encouraging to others. She's definitely a team player, an asset to the team, has a good attitude, and is a good cheerleader. Glad to have you next year. Gabe Bova. Gabe likes to have fun and always has something funny to say. He kept us smiling when things got stressful. He always had a positive attitude, and he worked hard to learn his cheer. Looking forward to having him next year. Marissa Geck. Likes to have fun with her friends on the team. She's a good cheerleader, good flyer, good attitude, and worked with Seth to do a one-man stunt. She's respectful to her coaches, and I'm excited to have her next year. Jaden LeClaire. Always has funny things to say and makes things fun. She's nice to those around her. She based with Soraya this season and did a good job. She has a good attitude and is a good cheerleader, and I'm glad to have her next year. Haley Schmelsley, hey, always smiling, and that smile's contagious. She gets along with everyone and is willing to try new stunts with her bases, has a good attitude, and is a good cheerleader. I look forward to having her next year. Jaden Bowman. Jaden has a good attitude, became a strong base for us this season. She's a good role model and a good team player. She always wants to do new stunts and is a good cheerleader, and I look forward to her leadership next year. Mackenzie Hefner. Is Mackenzie here tonight? Mackenzie was always cheerful and always smiling. She had a good attitude, but I'll move on to the next one. Jessica Martin. Jessica is a caring person that could tell when something was wrong, and she would work to make it right. She's good at helping others. She's a great back spot and a good cheerleader. I look forward to her leadership next year. Now our seniors. Seth Bowman. Although Seth is quiet, he's a good leader. Seth is a quick learner and good cheerleader. He would adjust our cheers and chants to be guy style, and then teach the other guys. He was able to learn the one-man stunt. We will miss his leadership with the guys next year. Seth made the cheerleading team at Southeast Missouri State University, and we wish him the best next year with the team. Congratulations, Seth. Lauren was one of our captains and very good at being a leader. She had patience with the team and was very good at keeping everyone on track. She also was good at being very encouraging when the team was down after doing the routine a million times. It did feel like a million times, right? Lauren respected others and the coaches and was good to work with. She's a strong base and wanted to learn new stunts and had good jumps. She's a good cheerleader and we will miss her next year. Gabriella Geck. Bree is quiet, but she has a good attitude and is nice to everyone. She is a back spot and willing to spot for many different flyers. She will do whatever is needed for her. She has good jumps, is a good cheerleader, and we will miss her next year. Connor Shilley. Connor was one of our captains and good at keeping our team on track. Even though sometimes me and her butted head, she helped me with many things. She was good at explaining things in my language when I didn't understand things. She had great ideas and could adjust our stunts when someone wasn't able to be there. She had good jumps, was a strong tumbler, and a good cheerleader, and we will miss her next year. These are our basketball cheerleaders. Please give them a round of applause. Please stay up here. Please stay up here while we do our awards. These awards were so hard to decide. I believe everyone on this team deserves the awards. They worked so hard. Every one of you have given me your best, and I couldn't ask for more. I enjoyed coaching this team. It took Coach Thomas and myself a lot of talking for a few days to decide. Here we go. Best stunt group. This is the group that worked together to reach the most complex stunt. This was hard to decide because we had one stunt group that had more opportunities and could have been a little sharper, but they were good at trying new things. One stunt group had a new base that learned quickly, and the stunt group was good, and they were willing to have more than one flyer. But that restricts you because then you can't move to bigger and better stunts. Then we had another stunt where the bases were all new and had to learn new things. So we decided to go with the group that took the initiative on their own, that didn't need to be told to practice a stunt. This group took every opportunity to do new things. The Best Stunt Group Award goes to Lauren Bell, Jessica Martin, Connor Shilley, and Haley Schmelsley. Congratulations. Moving on, the Most Improved Award goes to the one who showed the greatest growth in learning this season. We had a lot of new cheerleaders, and they were all really good, but we decided that we'd had a tie. It goes to Hunter Nelms and Mackenzie Hefner. The Cheerleader Award goes to the team member that showed the outstanding efforts and positive spirits, cooperation, and overall great team member. This was really hard. More than 3/4 of you deserve this award, so we're going to give it to two of you. Carissa Holst and Bree Geck get the Cheerleader Award. The Spirit Award goes to the team member that showed the most spirit and positivity at games and performances. Again, this could go to the whole team, but we decided the Spirit Award will go to Jaden LeClaire and Mackenzie Hefner. This season, we added two more awards. The first one is the Best Technique Award. This award goes to the cheerleader that has the sharpest motions and is on point with her motions. Are his. I am constantly telling the team to be sharp. This person is always sharp, even at practice. The Best Technique Award goes to Soraya Zerwig. The second new award is a Leadership Award. This goes to the person who is a good leader, had patience with the team, and a positive attitude. It goes to Lauren Bell. Great job, team. I'm very proud of you, and I look forward to working with you again next season. Seniors, you will be missed. We have gifts for you, so please don't take off tonight without them, okay? So stop by on your way out. Please give them another round of applause. Thank you.
Great job, cheerleaders. You guys were enjoyable to watch perform at halftime. You did a great job supporting the teams all year long. Okay. Really quick, I got a quick request for you guys. With us having 300-ish people in here, it doesn't take very many people to get the noise level high when people are trying to talk. So if you guys could keep your conversations to a minimum, please, especially when somebody is at the microphone, it would be greatly appreciated. As promised, I said that I would do some more thank yous as the night went on, and I wanted to take just a minute to thank our custodians. Brian Kreider is our lead evening custodian, Dean Gamache, our lead day custodian. Our evening crew, along with Brian, do a fantastic job cleaning up after the wrestling events and basketball events and so forth. They're the ones that, after everybody leaves and all the popcorn is on the floor and everything else, they sweep it up, clean it up, and get the gym looking great for the next upcoming game. So thank you to those guys for making our gym look very nice for our home events. Without any further ado, we'll move on to our Emeralds, and Coach Operly is going to do all the talking for them. So Ashley, come on up.
This season, I had the pleasure of coaching 12 talented dancers, and I've had the pleasure of having one manager this season as well. I've enjoyed watching the girls grow as dancers and become more confident in their abilities after each practice. It has been great to watch the improvements that the girls have made, with each performance being better than the last. So tonight I'm going to start with the seniors, so please walk up after you've been announced. Haley Winston. Haley Winston is our captain this season. Haley has been a great asset to our team. She's a great leader and is always willing to help anyone on the team. She has amazing dance and choreography abilities. Cheyenne Black. It has been a pleasure to watch Cheyenne improve and become more confident in her dance abilities. She always gives her best effort at playing manager this year. I'm not sure if she's here tonight, but it was great having her on our team and having her create shirt designs for us. Next are our juniors. Miranda Kirchner. She was our co-captain this season. Miranda is a very talented dancer and continues to surprise me with her abilities. She's a quick learner and always brings her best effort to practices and games. Haley Wolf. Haley has wonderful technique, and she's also a great dancer. She has great kicks and always stands out in a kick line. Rebecca Gons. Rebecca has brought a lot of laughter to our team. I seem to find myself laughing at her for saying something, usually at every practice. She's a great personality and a great dancer. Jordan Catlett. All season I've appreciated how well Jordan has been at communicating with me, whether it may be about practices or games that she cannot attend. She always does a great job letting me know ahead of time, and she gives her best at every practice and game. Sophomores. Brooke Baird. Brooke is such a sweet person and a great teammate. She will help anyone out if you ask. She always comes to practices and performances with a positive attitude and a smile on her face. Brooke has great high kicks and excellent kick lines. Haley Kinzer. It has been great to watch Haley's dance ability grow this season. Continues to improve as a dancer. Alyssa Grissom. Alyssa always has a positive attitude during practices and performances. It's been great to watch her become more confident in herself and just being proud of herself after performances. Our freshman, Anna Dirks. Anna is a great dancer and always gives 100% at practices and performances and comes with a smile on her face. This season, she managed to learn the majority of her routine through videos of her practices while she was on a vacation, so I was very impressed by that. Zoe Luttrell. Zoe is a very talented and dedicated dancer. She has amazing leaps, jumps, and kicks, and this season I was very impressed with her. She was sick for one of our games, and I told her, you don't need to come, it's okay, and she showed up and toughed it out and performed. Tabby Gibson, I'm not sure if she's here tonight, but Tabby has also grown as a dancer throughout the season. It's been great having her on our team. So give a round of applause for our Emeralds. also have some awards. The first award is our Leadership Award, and this award goes to Haley Winston. Haley has shown great leadership throughout the season and just has been willing to help out in any way she can and is always trying to better the team. The next award is the Choreography Award, which also goes to Haley Winston. This season, she did an amazing job at choreographing our routines, and I am very thankful that I had her by my side on the team. So thank you. The next award is the Best Team Player Award, and that goes to Brooke Baird. Brooke is a great team player and, like I said, always comes to practice with a smile on her face and is willing to do whatever she's asked. The next award is Best Jumps and Leaps Award, and that goes to Zoe Luttrell. Sometimes during practices, I usually ask Zoe to demo a jump or a leap, and she does a wonderful job at it, so that was great to have. Our last award is Most Dedicated, and that goes to Anna Dirks. I chose Anna for this award because, like I said, she was gone for a week and missed practice, but she never stopped practicing. We sent her videos of the dance, and she came back that next week, knew most of the routine, and performed with the group, so I was very proud of her. Okay, thank you guys. It was a great season.
Thank you, Coach, and thank you, Emeralds, for the halftime entertainment throughout the winter. Okay. Caitlin Kreitler, where you at, Caitlin? Where's Caitlin? Where's Caitlin? There she is. Okay. Caitlin is my SBE worker. She helps me with a lot of things throughout the course of the day, mainly keep my sanity, but she helped me get ready for this banquet in a timely manner so that I could get it done by Wednesday night. So thank you, Caitlin. Not sure why our thing is cutting out. Okay. Moving on. We've got wrestling, and although we have a whole gang of wrestling coaches up here, Coach Bonnell is going to do all the talking for wrestling. So come on up.
Well, I'll try and keep this short and sweet. As most of you know, I'm a little shy about talking. But we'll try and get through this. I don't need to introduce my coaches. Coach Nix did a great job with that, so I'm going to start off by doing a lot of the thank yous that he's already done. The boosters being one of them. They do a great job meeting our needs throughout the season, especially if we haven't calculated them in early in the season. They help us out with budget concerns and things like that. I'd like to thank our administration. They do a phenomenal job working with us on our travel schedule, helping us meet our needs so we can see the competition that we want to see. Also, I want to thank Nix. He does a phenomenal job meeting all the needs as best as he can for all the teams, and he always backs up his coaches, so I really appreciate that. Shout out to Jason Viox. Jason, you do a great job. You always try and do your best to make it out to all the events, and we really appreciate your coverage. Parents, I can't thank you enough. You guys do so much for our program. You go beyond what you need to between meals, transportation, the thousands of pictures you guys take and put on our Facebook feeds and control our social media. So we really appreciate you guys coming in. The things that we do or are able to do would not be possible without you guys. So we really appreciate that. I'd also like to thank my coaches. I have a great coaching staff, and that's from top to bottom. That's from Little League all the way up to high school. We've done a really good job over the last several years getting some really talented coaches back into the youth program, as some have gotten out, and things are looking really bright for St. John Wrestling. I'd also like to thank our families. There's a lot of time that is spent in the wrestling season. As you coaches know, you basketball coaches and cheerleading and Emeralds. There's just a lot of time away from your family, and when you have kids, it's a lot of single parenting going on and them picking up the extra slack for a few months. So I really appreciate our families putting up with us, even when they probably shouldn't sometimes. A little bit about our season recap. We had a 16-3 dual record. I really felt like we honestly should have been 18-1, but it was a pretty solid dual record this year. We took third at Westminster, and that was out of 12 teams. Fifth at Union. We placed fifth at Harrisonville, and that was a 25-team tournament. We won our St. John duels, took seventh out of Branson. We took second at SEMO Conference, which is the first time we've placed in the top two since I've been here. So that was a pretty big accomplishment because there's a lot of Class 4 schools in there, and we're generally one of the smaller classes in that tournament. So that was a big accomplishment for us this year, especially doing it with shorthanded, not with our whole lineup. We got our district championship back, which was nice, and then we placed fourth in the state tournament out of 48 teams. So we had a pretty good year. And that's what I had to deal with all year. I'd like to start off with introducing my managers. If you guys would come up, I'll call you by name. Caitlin Kreitler, Grace Tamure, Abby Schachterly, Josie Geisner, Boston Williams, and Brooke Turner. These girls do a lot of behind the scenes. Do you want to fix this?
Let's try this.
Much better. These girls do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. It's apparently not the battery. It doesn't like me. I just need to stop. These girls do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. They put up with me, which is a big part of it, but they also do statistics for our team, video, and we've had several of these girls. One of them's not here, but that are very weathered for us, and they've done it for a few years, so they're really good. But they've also, did you get it? All right. But they've also done some training with two noobs, as I call them, and they've really done a great job this year, and it's been a great addition to our team. We're losing a very good manager. As Coach Nix talked about, Caitlin Kreitler, she's very responsible. She keeps you organized. You can always count on her. She's done a good job for us, a good leadership with these girls, and we're going to miss her. And I hope our other girls continue to come back and are supportive of us and continue to do the great things that they've been doing. These are some awesome girls. They are a pain in the rear sometimes, but I love them all, and I'm glad that they're with us. I'm going to talk about the JV wrestlers first. When I call your name, please come up, and if you would, please hold your applause till the end. It kind of helps with time, and I know you guys are going to want to get this over with as soon as I do. Tyler Worley, 106. Tyler's a freshman. He had a 12-10 record. He took third at the Windsor JV, first at Cape JV tournament, and fourth at the SEMO Conference JV tournament. Barely ever weighing over 100 pounds, Tyler bounced between 106 and 113 in order to get matches the majority of the year. I saw a lot of improvement from Tyler throughout the year, especially after wrestling his first varsity tournament. His willingness to step up when we needed him at the varsity level showed a lot of character. Even though he was able to produce a varsity win this season, Tyler's work ethic improved as the season ended, which helps with his aspirations for next year. One thing I will say else, in addition to Tyler, is he's matured a lot as the season's grown, has went through. I'm really proud of him because he's starting to become a young man. Adrian DeRoos. Adrian also wrestled at 106. He's a freshman. with a record of 13-5. He won the Windsor JV tournament. He took first at the Cape JV tournament, and he took third at the SEMO Conference JV tournament. Adrian came in this year having a rough 8th grade year. He was unsure about if he was going to wrestle, but with some encouragement, he made the decision to come out. Adrian had a successful freshman year of wrestling where he compiled several top 3 tournament finishes and recorded a win on varsity against DeSoto to solidify his varsity letter. With hard work in the offseason, I hope he can acquire some added varsity time next season, maybe even solidifying a permanent spot in our lineup. Adrian Drews. Alex Drews. You all right? Alex wrestled 120, 126 for us this year. He was a sophomore, 5-3. Alex did start off in the varsity lineup this season, wrestling between 2 weight class. He acquired several wins and placed 6th at the Union tournament just before receiving an injury that would eventually end his season. We have high hopes that he will be able to wrestle for us next season. Alex is a hard worker and has a lot of potential, and we would love to see him have an injury-free year. Nathan Selby. Nathan Selby wrestled between 132 and 138. He's a freshman with a 14-5 record. He took 2nd at the Cape JV tournament, 2nd at SEMO Conference JV. Nathan had a decent freshman year wrestling this season. He was able to place in all the tournaments he wrestled, and he was able to attain a varsity letter with several wins at the varsity level. Nathan's potential lies in his dedication. With extra work and commitment, I believe Nathan can be a contributing factor to our lineup. Nathan is enjoyable to be around and usually has a good sense of humor, which is nice to have during long stretches of practice and competition. I'm very encouraged in Nathan's abilities and hope he buys into the process of dedication. Nathan Selby. Andrew Wolf. Andrew Wolf bounced back and forth between 138 and 145. He's a freshman with an 8-9 record, 2nd at the Windsor JV, 2nd at Cape JV, 2nd at SEMO Conference. Andrew had a pretty successful year at the JV level. He is a hard worker and takes advantage of any opportunity to improve his wrestling skills. Andrew made many AM workouts which contributed to his vast improvement from 8th grade to his freshman year. Although he was unable to attain a varsity win this year, I know he'll work much harder in the off season. I enjoyed Andrew's work ethic and his never quit attitude, and with that type of character, the sky's the limit. Kaylee Gross. Kaylee wrestled 145 and 152. She's a freshman with a 9-9 record, 2nd at Windsor JV tournament, 3rd at Cape JV tournament, 3rd at SEMO Conference. Kaylee is a very tough young woman. She had quite a bit of success this year. She was able to place in top 3 in every tournament she competed in and was able to wrestle a few varsity matches. My goal for Kaylee is to transfer her aggression from the room to her matches. I know that Kaylee has the ability to compete with anybody, male or female. She truly has a gift, and I know that if she allows herself to open up to wrestle, we will see some incredible things from her. Josh Schmidt. Josh has kind of bounced around everywhere for us this year. He was weighing about 165 or so most of the year, but he wrestled some 170, 182. He's a junior with a 13-16 record, 2nd at Windsor JV, 3rd at Cape JV, 2nd at SEMO Conference JV. Due to a jam section in our weight classes, Josh was unable to secure a permanent spot in our varsity lineup. He wrestled several weight classes for us this year, including a much heavier weight class than what he was weighing. Josh had a lot of success on JV and collected several varsity wins when he was called upon. One of the things I appreciate the most about Josh is his loyalty. I can always count on him if we were in a bind. He was always at practice, and you never heard him complain. I know Josh will work hard over the summer, and hopefully he will nail down a spot on the varsity next season. These are our JV awards. You guys can sit down. I'm going to start off with the varsity awards, and I'm usually going in weight order, but I'm going to start with Kagan Schmelsley. Kagan, come up. Kagan decided to try out wrestling this year. He was wrestling 138 for us. He's a senior, 3-9 record. He took 7th at the only, well, he wrestled 2 tournaments, but he took 7th at Westminster before hurting his knee at the Union tournament, which was pretty gruesome. I can't say enough about his athletic ability, his hard work, and just the overall type of person he is. Kagan gives you everything you've got, and it was unfortunate that we lost him because the potential is unlimited in this kid. I hope he continues to progress and be successful in life, and I know he will because he's a hard worker. I'm really hoping he gets to do his track season, which I think is looking pretty good right now, right? So, Kagan Schmelzley. Jacob Dickens. Jacob did wrestle 106 this year, even though he doesn't look like a 106 pounder. He's a sophomore, 46-9, 2nd at Westminster, 1st at Union, 4th at Harrisonville, 3rd at Branson, 1st at SEMO Conference. He was the district champ, and he was a 2018 state qualifier. Jacob had an incredible sophomore season wrestling at the 106-pound weight class. He managed to capture 3 tournament titles throughout the season with a top 4 finish and 3 others. Jacob works extremely hard and always does the things we ask. He's the type of kid you love to coach. Although Jacob didn't finish the season like he'd hoped, I still think he's one of the most dominant 106 pounders in the state. His desire to be the best will drive him to reach his goals. Jacob has already started getting ready for next year. I'm excited to see the confidence he will gain from the extra work he is putting in during the off season. Jacob Dickens. Nathan Geisner. Nathan wrestled 113 again this year. He's a senior with a 35-8 record. He took 3rd at Westminster, 3rd at Union, 3rd at Harrisonville, 4th at Branson. He was a district champion, and he took 3rd in the 2018 state tournament. Although he still exhibits forgetfulness, much like a freshman, it's hard to believe that I've had Nathan for 4 years. Nathan is one of those kids you love to root for and you can't root against. I swear that everybody in the state tournament was rooting for this kid. I can't count how many great things I've heard the past 4 years from other coaches about Nathan. Nathan has always had the ability to be a state medalist, but sometimes the ability isn't enough. State of mind plays a big role in success of an athlete, and if you don't have the right mindset going into things, then it's very hard to trick your body into performing at a higher level. Nathan finished his senior year wrestling one of the best tournaments ever. Nathan has overcome many things already in his short life. Overcoming is just what he does. I've enjoyed your silent leadership and willingness to dedicate yourself to something, even if it was something you lost your passion for. It's been an honor coaching you the last 4 years. Nathan Geisner. Randy. Dalton McNeil. Wrestled 120. Freshman, 21-14. First JV SEMO Conference, 3rd at District's 2018 state qualifier. Not to be confused with his cartoon lookalike from Hey Arnold, Dalton had a rough start to his freshman year. In his first week of practice, Dalton, I love you. I wouldn't say that if I didn't. In his first week of practice, he could see his season come to a screeching halt due to a shoulder injury. Dalton worked hard and was able to wrestle the second part of the season, which was incredible feat given the type of injury. He had a rough start, but eventually started to find his groove toward the end of the season. Dalton wrestled above his desired weight class and was able to place 3rd at districts and qualify for the state tournament as a freshman. He was able to get a win at the state tournament, which contributed to the team's 4th place finish. Dalton has a ton of potential. I know that if he works hard in the off season, he will earn a spot on that podium next year. Dalton McNeil. Grant Staffen. Grant wrestled 132 this year. He's a junior with a 45-13 record. He took 3rd at Westminster, 2nd at Union, 5th at Harrisonville, 4th at Branson, 3rd at SEMO Conference, and 3rd at Districts. He was also a 2018 state qualifier. Grant had a respectable season of wrestling in which he collected 45 wins and placed in the top 5 in every regular season tournament. Grant competed in one of the toughest weight classes in Class 2. He was ranked in the top 6 all year, and honestly, his weight was so tight that anyone in that top 6 could have won state any given day. Grant had his goals set high, and that's where they need to stay. When he decides, Grant has a tremendous work ethic and drive that you don't see from most high school athletes. The outcomes from this season will hopefully burn in him and push him. I'd like to see Grant harness his abilities and talents with his work ethic and leadership. Grant, I leave you with this. Believe in yourself and the process. We believe you are one of the best wrestlers in the state, and so should you. One off weekend does not change that. Jacob Boyer. AKA Doug. I like the hat, leave him alone. Jacob Boyer, 138. He's a sophomore with a 19-22 record. He was first at Windsor, he was top 10 at SEMO Conference, and he won the JV SEMO Conference. Jacob spent most of the year bouncing around our lineup to make adjustments for the best possible team outcome. I think anyone on our team would agree that Jacob is freaky strong, and he has a good sprawl, and he packs it with one mean crossface that he likes to throw from just about any position. Jacob is a hard worker, and he would do just about anything we asked. He, like several others in our lineup, had to wrestle a heavier weight class because of the competition in the room. He was definitely undersized in the 138-pound weight class, but he still managed to have success. Jacob has the ability to be a fundamental part of our lineup if he puts in the time in the summer. Jacob Boyer. Jared Humboldt. Jared wrestled 145 for us this year. He was a senior with a 52-7 record. He was first at Westminster, third at Union, third at Harrisonville, first at Branson, first at SEMO Conference. He was a district champ, and he took fourth at the state tournament this year. Jared had an outstanding year wrestling. He managed to win 4 tournaments and place in the top 4 in the other 3. Jared's hard work in the offseason the past 3 years has definitely been a contributing factor to his success as a wrestler. Between early morning workouts, summer camps, tournaments, and clinics, Jared has been a great example of what postseason work can do for an athlete. Although Jared's career didn't end the way he envisioned, it is something to be proud of. Not only did Jared accomplish many achievements this season, he also cemented himself into St. John record with a top 4 season win record. I think that the number one's 55 wins in a season, and Jared collected 52 this year. So he's in the top 4. This is something to be proud of, especially given the talent that has come through this program. It's hard not to relive those moments you felt like you let slip, but in the same sense, you need to embrace the moments that you didn't. The blood, sweat, and tears that you put into something you love, I believe Jared has done this, and I hope he can rest easily at night knowing he gave everything he had. Jared Humboldt. Noah Ogden wrestled 152 for us. He's a junior. He had a 23-20 record. He had a top 10 finish at Westminster, 5th at Union, 8th at Harrisonville, 5th at Branson, 4th at the SEMO Conference tournament, and he was in the bubble match at districts. Noah started off a little rough at the first tournament of the year, but as the season progressed, it seemed to get a little more comfortable. He seemed to get a little more comfortable and really started wrestling well. Towards the end of the season, I really started seeing the possibility of Noah qualifying for state and making some noise at the state tournament. Unfortunately, Noah's season came to an end at the district tournament. I have no doubt that if Noah makes a commitment to wrestling this summer, he won't be watching the state tournament, he'll be competing in it for all state honors. Noah, the potential has always been there. Choose to improve and take advantage of every opportunity you have. So next year I'm up here talking about how hard you worked and achieved what you wanted. Noah Ogden.
When was our 2-time district champion?
Brian Selby. We're talking Brian Selby wrestled 160. He's a senior. He had a 15-28 record. He was 7th at Westminster, 7th at the SEMO Conference. I wish Brian wouldn't have taken a year off his junior year. I believe a lot of frustrations that he had this year would have been significantly less because he would have had that extra year of experience. As laid back as Brian is, I could tell that losing matches upset him. I was glad to see this because it let me know he did care about it, what he was doing every day. Brian always jokes around how many times he's been teched, but I do appreciate he doesn't go into matches and roll over and get pinned. He frustrates a lot of wrestlers because he was like Houdini when he got on his back. Not giving up a fall could mean the difference between a win and a loss in a duel or even a place in a state tournament. I respect Brian for coming out his senior year and giving wrestling another try. I wish him the best of luck as he plans to continue his education and athletic career playing baseball. Brian Selby. Ty Brown. Ty Brown wrestled 170. He's a junior. He had a 31-26 record. He took 7th at Westminster, 8th at Harrisonville. He was 4-0 in the St. John Duels, 8th at SEMO Conference, 3rd at Districts, and he was a 2018 state qualifier. Ty Brown banked 31 wins this wrestling season, which was a big improvement from his previous season. Ty may not be the most athletic kid on the wrestling team, but he works extremely hard on improving each year, and that improvement is evident from his results. Ty had several bright spots with respectable finishes at many tough tournaments, one of which was punching his ticket to the state tournament. Although he didn't acquire a win there, he was able to gain some valuable experience which will benefit him in future trips. Ty wrestles a brawler mentality. It's not always pretty, but you can't take your eyes away because you often see his opponents give up from exhaustion. Ty has acquired a much better feel as a wrestler, but it's definitely still something he needs to work on. I appreciate all the hard work and positive attitude that Ty brings to the room and see the possibility of an exceptional senior year with some dedication over the summer. Ty Brown. Wade Hahn. We got a Miami Vice vibe going up here. Wade wrestled 182. He was a senior with a 14-1 record. He wrestled the first tournament of the year. He was 5-0 before he had the medical default out of that tournament. He came back and he won districts and was a 2018 state champ. With limited matches during his senior year, Wade spent most of the year rehabilitating a shoulder injury that would require surgery at the conclusion of his senior year. His parents pushed him through the season, but it was ultimately Wade's decision to finish his wrestling career on the mat or in the stands. After taking some time off the mat to make sure we had all the answers regarding his shoulder, Wade was able to start working out with his team once again. The night of our Farmington duel was Wade's first match competing since his injury in early December. The first real big test after returning was at the district tournament. Wade was able to secure a come-from-behind win on a very athletic opponent from Afton. He went on to win a state championship and wrestled smart matches and ultimately would win a state tournament in dramatic fashion. Wade's resilience to come back and wrestle is admirable. I do believe Wade had unfinished business that he wanted to resolve, but I also believe that he didn't want to let his team down on capturing another district championship and what we hoped would be a team trophy. Wade's laid-back, fun-loving attitude will be missed. It has been fun watching him grow into the young man he is today. I may have referred to you as Wade in the speech, but I will always know you as Herb. Tyler Jenkins wrestled 195 for us. He had a 31-24 record. He took 4th at Westminster, 5th at Union. He was 4-0 in the St. John Duels, 5th at Branson, 4th at SEMO Conference, 4th at Districts, and he was a 2018 state qualifier. Tyler was able to pick up 31 wins this season with top 5 finishes in several tournaments. He was able to punch his ticket to the state tournament this season after being denied in the previous year. Tyler wrestled through most of the season, battling illness and injury. When healthy, Tyler wrestled to a level that was capable of being a state medalist. He was able to manufacture some quality wins against tough opponents in January, which helped him secure a second place finish. Our team secure a second place finish in the conference tournament. Tyler is very talented, but his abilities and his potential remain untapped. I would like to see Tyler commit to off-season work with hopes of reaching his full potential during his senior year. Tyler Jenkins. His twin brother, Tyler Hale, wrestled 220. Tyler had a 40-18 record. He was 5th at Westminster, 5th at Harrisonville, 4-0 in the St. John Duels, 5th at Branson, 4th at SEMO Conference, and he was a district champ. He also placed 6th at the state tournament. In his second year wrestling at St. John, Tyler did some incredible things. He posted 40 wins, a 40-win season with top 5 finishes in every tournament but one. Tyler wrestled an incredible district tournament in which he knocked off 2 state-ranked opponents in back-to-back fashion. Tyler would move on to become the district champion in his first trip to postseason competition, and then a week later would receive all-state honors by placing 6th in the state championships. I believe one thing that separated Tyler from a lot of wrestlers was his ability to get hyped for the big matches. A lot of wrestlers let those matches get the best of them, but Tyler usually found a way to use that to his advantage. To accomplish what Tyler did in a short amount of time with us is an incredible feat. I hope Tyler uses his experience to help push him when times get tough. I appreciate the opportunity to coach him the past couple of years, and I hope that he always cherishes the memories and his accomplishments during this time in his life. Tyler Hale. Last but not least, Isaac Boyd. Isaac wrestled heavyweight for us this year. He had a 41-18 record. He took 3rd at Westminster, 4th at Harrisonville. He was 4-0 in the St. John Duels, 3rd at Branson. He was SEMO Conference champ. He was 3rd at districts, and he was a 2018 state runner-up. In his 3rd year of wrestling, Isaac was able to accomplish many remarkable things, nearly doubling his wins from the season ago. Isaac would test the waters at heavyweight class due to a season-ending injury from a fellow teammate. I will confidently say that he passed the test in the heavyweight division as he produced top 4 finishes in all tournaments, including a trip to the state finals and the state tournament. Isaac did not have an easy way through the state bracket. He would wrestle the number 2 ranked heavyweight, then the number 3 ranked heavyweight in his first 2 matches, followed by another top ranked opponent in the semis. Isaac's stature made it very difficult for most heavyweights to wrestle him. His speed and flexibility proved to be problematic for just about everyone he wrestled. Isaac wrestled heavyweight because that's what was best for the team. He never questioned our decision to keep him at heavyweight. I know he would have liked to wrestle a lighter weight class, but I think he's happy with the results. I appreciate Isaac's desire to want to be the best, along with the motivation to do the extra things to try and get him there. Isaac is always cheering on his team after tough losses. He would usually be mat side cheering. I'm excited for the next season, and I hope that he will step up into a leadership role. I want to wish him good luck as he travels to junior nationals at Virginia Beach to compete against some of the best juniors in the nation. Isaac Boyd. So now we have some quick awards to get to, and then I am finished. So we always do statistics for wrestling. You have takedowns, falls, most takedowns, things like that. So these are just our general statistics that we give awards out for. This year with most takedowns goes to Jared Humboldt with 90. Most tech falls, which is a stoppage of the match because you have a lead greater than 15 or greater. It's kind of like I feel like it's one of the hardest ways to win a match. I feel like there should be more points worth there in a duel, but nevertheless. Most tech falls goes to Jacob Dickens. He had 6 on the year. Most pins goes to Jared Humboldt with 31. Grant Staffen trailed him by just two less pins, which is pretty incredible for a few guys that have 60 pins on the team between the 2 of them. Most wins this season goes to Jared Humboldt. Rookie of the Year is a category that most people think it's just like, a freshman or somebody like that, but it's actually the way we do our Rookie of the Year is the person that's wrestled the district tournament for the first time, and that goes to Tyler Hale because he also placed 6th at the state tournament. Most improved goes to Isaac Boyd. He was 22 and 22 last season, and he was 41 and 8 this season, and he was a state runner-up. So. Hardest worker goes to Nathan Geisner. He's put in so much hard work and time into wrestling over the years. I mean, he's one of those kids you never have to get on to get going. He's always going. He's always doing what you need him to do. So the hard work award goes to Nathan Geisner. The most valuable wrestler award is comprised of many different things. We take team points in account. We take most team count, most wins, all kinds of different categories. And this year, Jared Humboldt was the recipient of the most valuable wrestler award. Lastly, I want to congratulate, I don't know how many of you don't know, but Wade Hahn made the Dream Team this year for being a state champion. And I think this is his second year back-to-back winning the Dream Team. So congratulations to him. And that's it. Thanks.
What Coach Bunnell failed to mention was that he was also chosen as the KTJJ Dream Team Coach of the Year for wrestling. Very well deserved. Third time he's gotten that. Also, as far as our state champion, Wade Hahn, you think about the tradition and the history of St. Genevieve High School. We've been around for more than 100 years now. And of course, sports haven't always been around, but sports have come and gone, and some have stuck around for a long time. But nonetheless, when you look in our gym and you look at how many team state championships we've had and how many individual state champions we've had, we've had a lot, but there are literally dozens and dozens of schools across the state of Missouri who have never had one single individual state champion, team or individual. It's a big deal. It's a hard accomplishment to achieve, and Wade Hahn was able to do it this year, and congratulations to Wade. That's outstanding. One more thank you out of me, and then I'll turn it over to boys basketball. I wanted to thank the administrative team. Of course, Mr. Haney and Dr. Mercer. I split supervision with them on the high school level, but also Dr. Taylor and Beth Giesler at the middle school level, who split middle school supervision with me. They're not only helping me with that all the time, but they're also a great support staff. And then, of course, our district office. We've got a fantastic school district, one of the best in the state in a lot of different aspects, and that starts with the leadership at the top, and that's because we have a great superintendent, great assistant superintendent, and so forth. So it's an honor to be a member of that administrative team, and I really enjoy working with all of them. So we're going to move on to boys basketball. Coach Meyer's not here today, but we're going to have Coach Robinson start. He's our JV coach, and then after him, Coach Coleman will finish it up for boys basketball. So, John, come on up.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Good evening. First thing I'm going to do, I'll just say the thank you to the parents. You guys, especially at the younger levels, you guys have to transport these kids to and from practices, and we appreciate that. You guys support our program, and you raise some fine young men. It makes our job a lot easier, so I do appreciate that, so thank you guys. Like you said, Coach Meyer's not here tonight, so I'll talk briefly about the freshman group. They were 4-8. They had a 4-8 record. They had a lot of close games, and some of that was, due to we didn't have as many guys at the JV level, so we had to pull guys from the freshman team. So we were playing a quarters game, so we had to steal quarters from some of they can only play 6 quarters a night. So we'd play two or three quarters at the freshman level. They'd play 2 or 3 quarters at the JV level. So I think that affected the freshman record a little bit. I think that record could have been couple, maybe 2 or 3 more wins, and that was due to that fact sometimes. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Also, I'm going to throw out the JV record and what they accomplished this year, and then I'll start talking about the individual players and bring them up here, and then we'll kind of discuss our season real quick, and then I'll pass it on to Coach Coleman. So, like I said, freshmen's 4-8. JV season ended with a 11-15 record. Just to start the season, we went 3-0 in the Meadow Heights and won the Meadow Heights tournament. We ended up 1-2 in our Old Settlement tournament in January. And then in the North County JV tournament in February, we also went 1 win, 2 losses. So that's how we did in the tournaments. One thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and start talking about the guys, start bringing them up. I think I'll start, basically all these guys played at the JV level at some point, so I'll just bring them up. And before you guys come up, sometimes it's our responsibility as a coach, not only to physically prepare you, but it's to get you ready. Hopefully you're growing on and off the court. And some of that's mentally preparing you, giving you that mental toughness. So what I did, I got you some books. I know you're going to love that. But I need you parents to make sure they read this, because I think they're really going to get something out of it. So make sure they read a couple of chapters a night on this. But when you guys come up, Coach Coleman is going to give you that. So I really think that's an important part of the sports, that mental side of it. So I really want you guys to sincerely take an effort and read that, okay? All right, I'm going to start with the captains on the JV team. I'll start with Christian Boyer. He was one of the captains. Come on up. He was our leading scorer this year. He averaged 8.8 points a game. He missed 5 games with injury and sickness. He's a guy, when you get him the ball around the basket, he's going to put it in the hole. So he does a good job finishing. He needs to continue working on his outside game. I thought as the season went on, he was doing a better job of that, and then continue hitting those free throws because he gets fouled a lot. He played in, like I said, 21 out of about 26 games. He had his high score for the season was 19 points in 1 game. So that was Christian Boyer, okay? The other captain at the JV level was Logan Foff. All right. He's a good leader on and off the court, really a coachable guy. He worked really hard on the defensive side of the ball. He really made that a priority as the season went on. He made that a priority. He wanted to be the guy that guarded the toughest offensive player on the other team. So he took that mindset that he wanted to be that guy. So one thing, he wasn't much of a scorer early in the year, but as the season went on, especially in the Old Settlement tournament, our tournament in January, he stepped up in that scoring role and started scoring in double figures. So his high score for the season was 11 points. I think he averaged 3.3 points a game, but like I said, that one stretch when we really needed him, had a lot of guys out with injuries and sickness, he really stepped up and looked to score a lot more. So that was Logan Foff. All right, I'll bring Dylan Stafford up, okay? Dylan, he's one of those guys that spends a lot of time in the gym, and it shows, because he's probably one of the best, he's probably the most pure shooter in our program. And he entered, we have what we call a 25 free throw club, and you have to make 25 or more consecutive free throws, and he did that. So there's only a few people that's done that in our program in the past few years, so he's one of those guys that did that, and that's a good accomplishment. So 25 free throws in a row, that's pretty good. He played more and more as the JV season went on. When he learned, and I got on to him a lot about his defensive side of the ball, and I thought he started improving that at times, and that's something, if he wants to be a complete player, to work on that defensive side of the ball. But, he's got a great upside. He's got that mentality as a scorer, and he played in 21 JV games. His high score was 18 points in 1 game. So, and sometimes he would just come in and play 1 or 2 quarters, and I'd try to get the ball to him as many times as I could, because I knew when he's on, you want to have that ball in his hands. But he's got a bright future if he keeps working hard. So, I'm going to bring up Bryce Varley. Bryce started playing a little bit more and more at the JV level for us as the season went on. Usually he just played 1 or 2 quarters early in the year. Bryce played 19 JV games. He averaged 1.4 points a game. His high score in a JV game was 4 points. But as the year went on, he looked to score a little bit more, and I think some of that was we took him out of the post player role, started putting him in that guard role, which I think he enjoyed that. Started getting the ball in his hands a little bit, and he did some good things with that. So that's Bryce. All right, a couple of these guys aren't here. Let's go with, all right, Coy Fleeg. You're here, aren't you, Coy? All right. Out of our 26 games, Coy was able to play in 12 of those. He had some injuries, so we really missed him at times, his inside presence, especially on the defensive side of the ball. One of the things that I enjoyed seeing Coy do this year, and to show you how important he was to our defensive side, when we were playing North County, they had a 6'4", maybe 6'5" freshman that was a pretty good offensive player, and Coy stuffed him 2 possessions in a row. Coy blocks his shot, kid grabs it, tries to shoot again, and Coy just stuffs it right down his face again. And the kid only scored 2 points the rest of the second half. He was very timid, didn't want to score, and we held him to 9 points that game. We played that same North County team a few weeks later in a tournament, and Coy wasn't there to help us protect basket, and that kid went off for 23 or I think 23 points. So Coy was a big presence inside. So I hope he gets healthy and can get back on the court next year. Coy's high point game was 7 points, and he averaged 2.6 points a game. Okay. Lawrence, come on up. Hunter played in 18 out of our 26 games. He had a season high of 9 points. He averaged 2.9 points a game. He missed 8 games due to injury. He's one of the hardest workers on our team, and he's a really coachable kid. He gets to the free throw line a lot, so I need him to keep working on that free throw shooting, okay, and improve that outside shot. But he's a good around the basket. He works really hard. Asa Lemons. Asa played in 15 of our 26 games. He's a really hard worker as well. He spends a lot of extra time in the gym trying to make himself better, has a great attitude, has a knack for the ball, he rebounds well. And I know he didn't get to play as much as he wanted to, but he accepted his role, and he's a class act, so I just wanted to thank him for that. We've got a couple more freshmen. Actually, I'm going to bring Austin Keene up here. Austin didn't play this year due to an injury to his knee before the season even started. But he didn't play a quarter at all. He didn't get to play, didn't practice with or anything. But he has a great attitude. He's a good leader. I think we missed him out there at times. But he still showed up, even though he was hurt. He showed up to the majority of our practices. And I think that's huge, being a part of the program. So I appreciate that, Austin. Chayton Lee. Chayton didn't play a lot of JV this year. He got into 11 games. It was good to see him as the year went on. He really didn't have a lot of confidence at the freshman or the JV level when he played. But as the year went on, you could see him building that confidence. You could see him. He got better as a defender. He took pride in that, and the mental side of the game, he started listening, starting to develop a little bit of mental toughness, and you look to see him score a little bit as the season went on, and I didn't see that early in the year. So you could see him growing, and so that was good to see. Who we got? Landon Rose, come on up. All right. Landon got into 3 JV games this year. Didn't get a lot of JV games, but at the freshman level, he was a good shooter. When he gets open, you leave him open, he can hit that shot. He brought a good attitude, that fun-loving attitude to practice every day, and sometimes a little too much. Had to get onto him a couple times, but for the most part, he was a good kid. Like to have him around. Did I get everybody? Okay. All right. Talk a little bit about our season, I already talked about, we had, faced a lot of adversity this year. We had numerous injuries, guys being sick. It's like I had probably used 12 to 15 different lineups just because we had playing the quarters game, guys getting sick, guys being hurt. And I think it took us a while to build that consistency. And sometimes we were very consistent. We played good for 2 or 3 quarters, and then I don't know what happened. And I think that's part of being a young team. We just weren't consistent all season long. So I think that's one thing, as they get older, I think this will help them facing some of the struggles they've seen, especially these freshmen. I think that'll make them better down the road, going through some of these battles, okay? I'm going to share a quote with you from John Wooden, and then I'll let you guys go. Whatever you're doing, you must have patience, and there's no progress without change, so you must have patience. And the reason I say that's something that hit me a little bit, with the season we had, the struggles we had, and sometimes, patience is usually one of my strong points, and sometimes I didn't always show that patience or show that poise, and you can probably ask a couple officials about that. But to me, I want you guys to realize, that's part of the growing process. We always talked about after each game, after the season, what did we do well, what do we need to work on, and I hope you guys take that growth mindset with you. That's what this book's for too, to hopefully you guys learn from things. We learn and develop, reflect, and keep moving on. So I just want to thank you guys for your effort, your commitment. Keep working to improve, and I look forward to coaching you guys next year. All right? Thank you.
All right. One thing a coach maybe didn't mention that I know he talked about the young guys and some of the struggles they had. They started the year 8-3, and so they were kind of on a roll until all these things hit. So I know I look forward to some of these guys playing next year. I'm going to start with some thank yous, just like the other guys did, and the boosters for everything they do, the administration, Coach Nix for all his help and support. The media, the radio stations, Jason Viox, J98, Daily Journal, KFMO Sports, they cover a lot of our games. Cheerleaders and dance team, their coaches for performing and creating a good atmosphere. The parents for all your help and support, not only through the season, but the off season. We take a summer trip to Springfield or Branson, and we get a lot of parents to go with us and help with that and fundraising. The meals that they help create for our guys during the year, and especially Jessica Grimminger and Andrea Stolzer, and everything that they do, getting those meals and taking care of the money and going to the store and planning and all that. I know it takes a lot of their time, and it's very appreciated. All the coaches, like I said, younger, middle school, Coach Geck, Coach Toombs, guys and Coach Boyer, guys that have coached them in the off season and when they're younger. It's very appreciated. These guys come in with some fundamentals and good work before they get to us. Can't thank Coach Robinson enough, and not only the great coach he is, but the great guy that he is. You could tell that he's very wise, a good guy to go to talk to with any issues, whether it's basketball or life. I appreciate everything he does with watching film for the varsity games, his off-season work. He puts just in as much time as me, and not as much pay. So, but I know he does it because he loves working with the kids. I wanted to thank my wife, probably more than anybody, and everything that she does, how supportive she is of everything that I do, the time that I spend away. She bought me a shirt. It was an orange bright shirt that said basketball never stops, and I'm thinking that's a hint that it never does for me. So I appreciate everything she does and the love and support she gives. And I'd like to thank the players for all the hard work that they put in. They put a lot of time in, like most athletes do. In basketball it's tough. We have to go late practices, so sometimes we don't get to the gym till 5:30 and out of there till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And then, guys are still staying another 30 minutes and shooting after practice. It's a long season. You know, we have Christmas break, holidays that they have to come in, and so it's very demanding on the players. I'm very proud of them, and their parents should be very proud of them, of the fine young men that they raised. Not only do we hopefully they learn basketball, but we definitely hope they grow as young men and can be positive when they leave here in life. There's things that we try to get across to them. Our 6 pillars of being positive, passionate, prepared, productive, having pride, and being poised. So we hope they learn those. Our season, it was very up and down. It's not quite, I know, for myself, for what the players thought it would be. We had high expectations. We had a record of 9-17. We lost 7 games of 8 points or less, and we played a really tough schedule. I know I've mentioned that before. Our first 6 games, we played 2 Class 5 schools, which I don't know where Class 5 starts in the enrollment, but we have 600 kids, and there are at least 12, 13, 1,400 kids in their school. We also played 2 top 10 state-ranked teams. We lost to 3 teams that won their own district early in the year, so we definitely played tough teams early, but I think that prepared us for later on. We knew coming into this season we'd have a lot of depth, but it just took us a long time to find our roles and rotations. I'm very proud of them that they kept working hard and improving all year. I think we grew not only as a basketball team, but as a family. I think the guys opened up to each other personally and hopefully built relationships they will carry for a long time. It's not too many times I see guys sharing personal information, whether they want to admit it or not, a little bit of maybe some crying in the locker room and growing as brothers that I've seen with these guys. And I think that means a lot. We had 11 total players on the varsity squad. We had 1 freshman, 1 sophomore, 5 juniors, and 4 seniors. We also have 6 managers, which I'm going to start with first. Rachel Bowman and Shauna Wortman, I believe, are not here. And how about Cammie Grass and Megan Schweigert, the 2 sophomore managers? They would probably, if you asked them, they would say they're the best managers. They did probably show up more than any of them. They're always came to practice, especially at the beginning of the year, and probably got forced by the older ones to film and do a little bit more, but it's okay. They did a great job. And then I also have Drew Lamandier and Allie Grass, our 2 senior managers. These guys have been with us for 4 years and really have done a great job. They really do a good job with our stats, some of the best ones I've had that are probably right when I look at them at the end of the game, even though I know sometimes they're on their phones and probably miss some things. They also do some laundry sometimes, water bottles, film games, like I said, and the thing about these girls is they're all in other sports, jobs, clubs, and so they've taken time out of their busy schedule to help our program, and I appreciate it. We had freshman Logan Trollinger. Logan became a varsity member about at the Christmas tournament. He only played in 18 of the games. He's a very skilled offensive player, and when he wants to, can play some pretty good defense. At the beginning of the year, I think Logan came in, and the step from being middle school to the varsity level, the speed, the intensity and things took him a little while to get going. We knew in the summer and before that he was a great offensive player. I think his first game that he played, was it the first or second game, he scored 20 points against North County. He actually did that twice against North County. He had 21 game and 23 the other. I remember their coach saying, I don't know what he's got against us, but he always played well with them. He averaged 7 points, 2 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals. He shot 70% from the free throw line, and he was our best three-point shooter, shooting 41% from the three-point line. I just wish sometimes he'd shoot the ball a little bit more, and I'm glad we'll have him for the next few years. Sophomore Christian Boyer. Christian didn't get a ton of time on the varsity. His coach said he played a lot of JV. He played in 8 games. Christian's a very smart player and really understands the game. His ability to play around the basket is really good. He moves well away from the ball. When other guys are attacking, he just kind of has a knack for where to be. I know that Christian will put a lot of time in the offseason, as he already is doing so, and I know he'll play a big part next year. We have 5 juniors. The first one's Chase Kohler. Chase was really good for us as the year went on. He got stronger. He was a starter last year as a sophomore, and towards the end of the year, I think he really got to that same spot that he was. He's kind of a stronger guard for us. He plays bigger than what he is, which is nice, and allows us to sometimes play 4 guards on the floor, and because he can kind of guard somebody that's bigger than him. And averaging 3 points a game and 1.8 rebounds. Next is Brady Boyer. Brady does a great job offensive rebounding and scoring the basket, especially against the zones. His ability to leap up and shoot over people even that are bigger than him is really made him successful. And again, that offensive rebounding, his knack for finding those is great. He was very successful. He averaged 4.3 points, 4 rebounds a game. His biggest game was 20 points and 8 rebounds against Valley, which I'm sure he's proud of. And he led us in total rebounds with 101. Next is Sam Stolzer. Sam came on towards the end of the year also. The first 10 games, he averaged only about 2 points a game. The last 6 games or so, he averaged about 10 points in the regular season. He came to us about halfway through the season, which is really tough for some guys to do, and he wasn't playing as much as he wanted to, and he asked what he needed to do. And me and Coach Robinson told him, and he accepted that. And you could see from then on, he was a different guy. He was determined, and he had a lot of heart, and he turned it around, as you can see with his stats. He averaged 5.1 points a game, 2.6 rebounds. His best game was against Prairieville. He had 15 points, and I think 6 or 7 rebounds. Next is Derek Morgenthaler. Derek is one of our better offensive players this year. He really didn't shoot the ball as much as I would want him to. I'm sure as many times he heard me yelling, shoot or sit down, because he could shoot it. I don't think that he lacks confidence. I just think that he's not a selfish person, and he just didn't want to be that guy. But he definitely is one of our better shooters. He's also, as a surprise a little bit, I think this year has become a pretty good rebounder for us, for his size. He averaged 7.1 points a game, 3.2 rebounds, and 1.6 assists. He led us in free throw shooting with 88%, which is the highest in school record with the records that I have since about the 2000. His best games were at AV at 25 points, going 5 for 7 from the three-point line. At DeSoto, one sticks out. He had 19 points, going 5 for 6 from the three-point line, and he actually hit pretty much the game winner to give us that win. Chad Dunsey. Chad throughout the year became a tougher defender and rebounder. He has good offensive skills. He has length that really makes him a really good guard. And again, allows us to play 4 guards, and he can kind of use his length to help us with that. His biggest downfall is that he's so hard on himself. Chad, we thought sometimes he'd play well and he'd still be upset, and I think that's something that can be tough to do. It's a good thing because he knows that he wants to do better and be better, but he needs to work on those things go and play the way he can play. He averaged 7 points a game, 2.4 rebounds, 2 assists. He shot 73% from the free throw line. His best games were against West County at 15 points, and St. Vincent he had 14 points. Coach mentioned earlier that Stafford made 25 free throws in a row, and this is something we just started 4 or 5 years ago maybe, and we've never had anybody make 50 until this year. Chad made 50 free throws in a row one day during practice. And that's tough. It's, people think free throws are easy, and they should be. Nobody's guarding you, but the mentality, the mental toughness to make that many in a row. A lot of these guys 20, 21, and they just miss every time. So to get to 50, I think is pretty impressive. So nice job, Chad. Do what? You made 68? Oh, he actually made 69 in a row. Like, we don't have a club for that. We just have 50. Sorry. All right, we had four seniors. First one, Brandon Jury. AKA Big Sexy. He's looking good. He got his hair cut today, sir.
Coach, do you want these given to him yet? Or wait?
No. Brandon was only with us for the last 2 years. I think he made great strides. He was a guy that always kept things easy going, as you can tell, and made us laugh. And that's always great to have a guy like that. He was the only really inside presence we had as far as size. When he made up his mind he was going to get the job done, he was really, really good. He did miss, I don't know, about 3 weeks of the season with an injury, which I think kind of slowed him down. He averaged 5.6 points a game, 4.5 rebounds. He led us in rebounds per game this year and had the highest field goal percentage at 53%. His best game was at Jefferson. He had 13 points and 9 rebounds. Again, Brandon is a great kid, a great heart, and we're really going to miss him and his goofiness. So thank you, Brandon, and his basketball skills too. Next is Camden Rowe. Camden's been with us for a long time. He actually, Coach reminded of me this, and we go down to Branson, him and I believe Gabe. I'm not sure if Gabe was there the 7th grade year, but Camden was playing with the JV and stuff as a 7th grader going on the trips to Branson. He was also part of our first district championship as a sophomore year as he came off the bench. Camden's an intense player. He is also very vocal leader. He is positive and encouraging, which is why his teammates voted him team captain. Some of the things they said about him was full of excitement, brings energy, always positive, and then brings energy and enthusiasm. I think that means a lot when your teammates not only vote for you, but have those things to say. And everyone that filled it out about Camden said that. He only averaged about 1.4 points a game and 1 rebound. His best game was at senior night against Festus. He had 6 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Camden is that guy that when we played in North County or Farmington or somebody that had a great player, we knew we could put him out there and he was going to frustrate them. And he did a great job of that. So we're going to miss Camden's leadership and intensity next year. Next is Drew Toombs. Drew's been on the varsity for 3 years. He was also a part of that district championship as a sophomore. He's a tough defender, not because of his speed or strength, but because of his ability to be in the right position all the time. And he's also not afraid to do one of the hardest things or the toughest things probably to do is take charges. And that just goes to show you, we talk about defense, you don't have to have speed, it's about positioning. And Drew is a perfect example of that. He's a lot of times undersized in the post and still did a great job. A lot of times I may look to someone else to be in the game for maybe some offense, and as soon as I take Drew out, our defense may crumble. And so you see me throwing him right back in there. He averaged 4 points a game, 3 rebounds. He took 12 charges this season, and that's a big number. He was actually the leader overall, I think last year with 14. So increased it this year. He's first overall in career with 34. Drew's best game against Potosi, he had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 charges. And so, again, his defense, his toughness is going to be missed. And last, Gabe Grimminger. Gabe's a 4-year starter, and he's put some of impressive numbers over the years. He's been his own little press breaker, usually a guy that carries us in tough situations. His mental toughness is one of the best I've seen come through. And not just because of his play on the court, but the way he handled the pressure as a point guard leading for 3 or 4 years. And normally, you'll hear most basketball coaches say that the guy you're on the toughest is your point guard because they've got a lead, kind of like your quarterback in football. And so, dealing with me for 4 years takes a lot of mental toughness, I'm sure. He averaged 13 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 4.1 assists, and 3.7 steals. He had 332 points this season, 106 total assists, and 96 total steals. 3 times he scored over 20 points a game, with his highest being 25 against South Iron. 8 times he had 5 or more rebounds, with his highest being 9 against AV. He led the team in defensive rebounds as, how tall are you?
6 foot.
6 foot, yeah, okay, on a good day. That says a lot, leading in defensive rebounds. 9 times he had 5 or more assists, including 10 against West County. 9 times he had 5 more steals in a game. Gabe is in the top 5 of 28 of the offensive categories in our school, at least the stats we have, school history. He's in first in 10 of those categories. He's second in 10 others. Gabe broke 1,000 points this season, which gave him a total of 1,298. And that's the ball that he did it with. The decorating on there was from Cammie, right? And Megan, the 2 managers that did most of the stuff, right? Just kidding. He was also voted as a team captain. Gabe was also voted first team MAAA All Conference, and he was honorable mention Class 4 District 1, which in that district comes with teams like Sykeston, Cape, Dexter, Cape Notre Dame. So just to be mentioned as the 10 top best players out of that district is pretty good. He also made a senior all-star team, which will be played March 31st at MAC. So if you can get over there and watch, it's actually the MAAA versus the Jefferson County teams, and Gabe was voted on that. I think just the one thing that sticks out for Gabe, I said, is his toughness, his mentality. A lot of guys in programs might have a good year or two, but Gabe definitely had a great career, and we're going to miss him. Please give a hand to your 2016-17 boys basketball team. All right, we got awards. First 3 are statistical awards. Leading rebounder, if anybody was paying attention, went to Brady Boyer with 101. Didn't know you were going to be tested. Free throw percentage award goes to Eric Morgenthaler with 88%.
Where'd it go?
It wasn't 88. Assist leader goes to Gabe Grimminger with 106. These awards are voted on by the players. Most improved, Sam Stolzer. Tenacity award goes to Camden Rowe. Defensive award goes to Drew Toombs. Offensive award goes to Gabe Grimminger. And most valuable player, Gabe Grimminger. And that's it. My seniors, you can stay up here. You can hand them out. The rest of you guys can go if you want. I always do this. I don't know why I started it. I tried to get out of it, and then people tell me they like it. So I always write a poem for our seniors. I have to apologize, girls. Didn't get you in the picture. Sorry. Or maybe I'll print off new ones. but says a group of seniors from 2017-18. This group here, they've shown no fears. They've accomplished so much over the years. Intense and gritty, they played so hard. Charges, steals, assists, they know how to guard. They are students, managers, and great players. They're actors, mentors, they have so many layers. You have sweat, cheered, cried, and won. I'm proud of all of you and what you've done. Allie Grass, model, actor, she went to Peru. Volleyball player, manager, what else can she do? Drew Lamadier, volleyball mentor and manager of basketball, inspiring to be a nurse, man, she can do it all. Brandon Jury, they call him Big Sexy, a goofball all the way. He made things fun, I never knew what he'd say. Gabe Grimminger, small but mighty, he showed no fears, one of the best I've coached, a starter for 4 years. Camden Rowe, enthusiastic, positive, voted captain of the team, a tenacious defender, attacked with a full head of steam. Drew Toombs, talkative and intense, he was a defensive pest, tough in taking charges, he always did his best. Each of you with wonderful characteristics that I hope will carry you on your way. Those attributes and strengths you have, I know will shine someday. As I stand in front of you now, remember the lessons we've taught you. Being part of the Dragon family, I wish you luck in all you go through. Thank you, seniors.
As impressive as his poetry is, it's even more impressive that he graduated from DeSoto and he can still do that. All right. Last and definitely not least, we've got girls basketball. So Coach Walk's going to come up and do all the talking, and I'm going to do my best to try to help her hand out her awards. So Coach Walk, you're up.
I brought my tissues, just in case you remember last year, I didn't have one, so, guys got yours ready? Just kidding. Okay, first, just like every other coach has done, I'd like to say some thank yous. My parents and my fiance, Marcus, for allowing me to dedicate, thank you, so much of my time to basketball and for being there to support me and for your guidance. The administrators for supporting our girls' basketball program, especially Mr. Nix, who has to constantly deal with me and my OC. Kind of like Coach Dallas said, I'm surprised he still answers when I call. The parents, none of this would be possible without you. You all are the glue that holds our program together. Getting the team meals organized and ready, driving the girls to and from games and practices, going to those games, not only your daughter, but the whole entire team. We have a tremendous amount of support from you, and I greatly appreciate it. I'd also like to thank the sports boosters for your help, Jason Viox, the cheerleaders, the Emeralds, Julie, Ann, and Mike for helping us keep the book this season, Russ Toombs for helping me out at the end of the season. I think that was kind of a fun couple of games there. The managers, thank you all so much for your help this season. You went to the practices, you went to the games, and you took time out of your busy schedule to help me out, and it really means a lot. The players, thank you very much for understanding, or at least trying to understand me and my craziness and the passion for the game. I think after they saw my dad coach at MAC this season, they understand where I get it from. I will just say the apple does not fall far from the tree. I would like to start with the JV girls. When I call your name, will you please come up? Megan Aubuchon, Autumn Bosler, Katie Beck, Allison Braun, Marissa Fleeg, Taylor Kinzer, Ella Reed, Morgan Schwint, Madison Vaith. Is Jaden or Bailey here, my managers? No? Okay.
Is it in your way?
Huh?
In your way?
No. All right. So this season, the JV girls had a record of 14-5, and that is a complete turnaround from last year. So I believe that this season, our girls really stepped up their game and continually made progress as a team. At the beginning of the season, we won the Jefferson JV tournament by beating Fredericktown by 1, and then took 5th place in the St. Vincent's JV Holiday Tournament. I'm very proud of how far these girls have come. I would say that the reason we won so many of those games is because they outworked the other team. Girls diving on the floor, going after loose balls, and playing tough defense allowed us to come out on top. It's not always talent, but rather who wants it more, and I believe these girls have that drive to be the best. I am so looking forward to the future with these young ladies, so thank you girls very much. Okay, next moving on to the varsity. So when I call your name, please come up. Julia Boyer. Sydney, come on up. Jada Grimminger. Maddie Helms. Jennifer Humboldt. Brittany Kreitler. Madison Rainey. Avery Reed. Macy Reynolds, Kylie Sokowski, managers Caitlin Apt and Emma Nicholson. Yeah. All right, so this is our varsity team for this season, and they went 16-8, winning the Valley Varsity Tournament and finishing 5th place in the Park Hills Christmas Tournament were a couple of highlights from this season. I really enjoyed being a part of this team. Girls came into practice every day with positive attitudes and the mentality to work hard and get better. It seems like every basketball season there are ups and downs, and this season was no different. I would like to commend these girls for handling adversity and always seeming to find the positive in every situation. I'm looking forward to growing with this team and seeing what the future has in store for us. I always take some time to talk about the seniors because after 4 years, you kind of feel like they're part of your family. And I just want to tell them the things that I will miss most about them because they all have left a mark on me and our program. So the rest of you can sit down if I can just please have, actually no, stay up here because you're going to get awards. Just kidding. Okay. First and foremost, their leadership. The younger girls have had a great group to look up to, and I hope that they continue on with what the seniors have taught them. Maddie, and how she would randomly blurt out the word farts or butts instead of, I know that sounds ridiculous, but Maddie, instead of cursing, that's what she would say instead. And so it just kind of was at random times, and it always make me laugh. I don't know. Sorry, Maddie. But most importantly, her hard work ethic and her passion for the game is something that I will truly miss. Rainey and how she came back this year to play basketball, and by doing so, accomplished something that most people wouldn't have had the courage to do. Avery, how she kept the team together and focused at all times and never gave up the hope or desire to win. Her presence in and outside of the game will be greatly missed. Kylie, and how she came into practice each day willing and ready to work and make the team better with her positive attitude and work ethic. And she also was able to make the 25 free throw club this season. Emma, and how kind and helpful she always is. She helped with stats, but she also had a very calming effect on the bench, and I really am going to miss that because I need it. Caitlin, and her sassiness, which if I remember correctly, the refs actually got onto her more this year than they did me. She is a fireball, to say the least. Julia, or JB, and her ability to take in the younger classmen and make them feel welcome. I remember a time when that wasn't always the case with seniors in the past. And Julia went above and beyond, as did all the seniors, giving these girls rides and helping them out with what they needed. Overall, I am truly going to miss having them around next year. And I feel blessed to have been a part of their lives for the past 4 years. I wish them only the best of luck in their future endeavors. I just know that you all will go and do great things. And I thank you very much for that. All right, next we are moving on to medals. First medal of the night, some of these are based on statistics and some of them are voted on by the girls. This first one is a statistic, and it is to Sydney Baumgartner for assist this year. She had led the team with 46. This next one was a vote. Most improved goes to Brittany Kreitler. I call her Bulldog. Rookie of the Year was voted on by the team, and it goes to Macy Reynolds. Leading rebounder was a statistic, and that goes to Avery Reed. Next, free throw award, Macy Reynolds with 70%. The Iron Man Award, voted on by the team, goes to Jennifer Humboldt. Most Valuable Player, voted on by the team, goes to Avery Reed. Did I miss somebody? Steals leader, I don't have that on here, Avery Reed. So just to kind of like Gabe did with the boys basketball program, Avery led us and some major statistics this season and also set some school records. She moved up to 8th all-time in career points with 916, 8th all-time in steals with 120, 2nd in all-time rebounds with 743, and the plaque that she's receiving is the all-time record leader in blocks. Goes to Avery Reed. Avery also made first team for the MAAA conference tournament in Class 4 all-district team and was voted last night onto the Dream Team. So congratulations to Avery. Thank you, girls, very much. So I'm going to leave you with a quote also from John Wooden, just like Coach Robinson did. And I feel like it really, I don't know, I guess coaches are kind of weird. We see something and it speaks to us to share it. And so I saw this and it seems appropriate for tonight. But what you are as a person is far more important than what you are as a basketball player. So yes, I am your basketball coach, but to see you guys grow and mature over the years and to see what your future looks like is way more important than anything that we do in basketball. So I truly blessed to be a part of your lives. Thank you.
First of all, that plaque that was given to Avery, the career blocks leader, the all-time blocks leader, that plaque, we have a duplicate that will also be in our trophy case in the gym concession stand. So 20 years from now, Avery, you can bring your kids and show them and say, see, I told you I used to be a stud. As I said up here tonight, and I won't say much, and then I'll let you guys go, but I listened to a lot of the coaches talk about things that were beyond just basketball or wrestling or cheerleading and dance. A lot of talk about developing young men and women into good citizens and good people and learning life lessons. And it's great to hear those things, because as an athletic department, with coaches included, we try to focus a lot more on the purpose of coaching. The goal, obviously, is always to win. That's our goal. We go into games, we play to win, no doubt. That's our goal. But our purpose is far more important, and that's to develop young men and women into being good citizens, and as I said, good people.